What's going on, folks? Welcome to the Dr. Kamaal Jones Show. I am Dr. Kamaal Jones. Thanks for being with us another Wednesday. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about a decision by the Trump administration to cancel millions of dollars worth of grants that are supposed to be to help to prevent teen pregnancy. If you are not already, let's first take a moment just to please subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on the various platforms for podcasts, and stay tuned with us because we are putting out new content every single week. So the Trump administration has made a decision to cut upwards of $67 million worth of grants, all of which were going towards programs that were designed to help prevent teenage pregnancy. In particular, there were 53 grants that had still 2 years to go before they were set to expire. So they were grants where programs were actively receiving funding and they had their funding abruptly shut off with no forewarning. Ostensibly, their reason for doing it, what they said, was that these grants were no longer aligned with the agency's priorities. This funding is slated to be rerouted to other teen pregnancy programs that this administration finds to be more in line with the beliefs of the administration leadership. I want to dig into that a little bit because this is really classic moves for folks who are trying to make sure that the things that our children are taught are shaped in their own image and in their own ideology and beliefs around what is appropriate and what's not. There is a degree of ideology that goes behind repeatedly this Trump administration's decision making when it comes to the health teaching of our young people. We know this because this isn't the first time that this teen pregnancy prevention program has come under scrutiny. Earlier in the administration, they drilled down on this program, and here was their reasoning at that time. HHS wanted to make sure that the curricula in the teen pregnancy prevention programs reflected, quote, the immutable biological reality of sex, not racial gender ideology, and may not promote anti-American ideologies such as discriminatory equity ideology. So how much of this is because they felt like this wasn't the most effective approach? How much of this is because it is part of existing thread of taking shots at programs that don't fit neatly into what you believe should be taking place, as opposed to what the science actually demonstrates and what is most helpful for our young people? I want to talk about the response from a president of an organization called Access Matters. This is Ayanna Bradshaw. She's the president and CEO of Access Matters, which is an organization in Philadelphia. Her organization received notification that their $1.2 million grant was going to be cut effective immediately. They would lose access to that grant. And I actually want to read a post from Ayanna Bradshaw. She said this on LinkedIn. She said, our organization received horrific news regarding our teen pregnancy prevention grant. We learned that this grant, which is set to end in 2028, has been prematurely terminated that same day without any notice. Devastation is an understatement. This $1.2 million 5-year annual grant provided support for adolescents, for families, for community members. It increased healthcare confidence, provided evidence-based sexual health education, developing youth leadership, and strengthening family communication to promote healthier, more informed communities. So this is something that was going to, in her case, young people and families all throughout Philadelphia. And here's what the administration actually said in their letter regarding that grant. It said that the organization was, quote, normalizing adolescent sexual activity that are not age appropriate, as they contain overly sexually explicit or pornographic content that is not necessary to achieve the program's statutory mission. In particular, HHS specifically cited the Be Proud, Be Responsible curriculum. This is a curriculum that's been designed to help young people to develop skills and knowledge around prevention of HIV. And so the administration's belief was that this curriculum was too graphic. It was too explicit, that it would perhaps, in fact, inspire sexual activity from young people. Here's the thing. They didn't display evidence to go with these assertions. They expressed a decision. They did not open up for a period of comment. They did not open up for any level of research. They just decided that what was being shown was not up to their liking. But if you actually pull up the research, this particular curriculum that they directly cited, the Be Proud, Be Responsible curriculum, is actually heavily research-based. Let me read a little bit to you from this article. It's called Effectiveness of an HIV/STD Risk Reduction Intervention for Adolescents when Implemented by Community-Based Organizations. So this study looked at the Be Proud, Be Responsible curriculum, okay? It looked at 1,700 adolescents, about half of whom were receiving this curriculum. The other half were not. Let me just read to you the punchline out of the results section here. It said that the folks who use the Be Proud, Be Responsible curriculum, the ones who received that curriculum, were more likely to report consistent condom use and a greater proportion of condom-protected intercourse than the people who were not utilizing that particular curriculum. And so there is evidence that is clear that this curriculum actually made a difference in the lives of young people, in the decisions that were being made, particularly and especially when delivered by these community-based organizations, such as the Access Matters organization. It is one thing to make an assessment, to decide that you want to go a different route, a science-based, evidence-based route, and you are reassigning some funding. It is different to cut a grant off from an evidence-based program in the middle of their existing grant, and to do so with no warning, to do so with no immediate transition plan that is immediately able to go into place and to be acted upon, so that the young people don't have any gaps in the care that they are receiving. It is a move that connects to really what we've seen throughout this administration and the conservative movement throughout the country, unfortunately, which has been to do everything that is possible to promote the creation of more children, while simultaneously doing everything that is possible to decrease the support of those children. People are trying to teach teenagers to take care of themselves, trying to teach them the realities, the ins and the outs of sexual activity, the realness of it, the risk of it. And they're trying to help teenagers to prevent getting pregnant. And your response is, it's too graphic. I don't want them actually hearing or seeing any real images or learning what it is to utilize a condom. It's just not right. Okay. So they don't use those things, and they end up getting pregnant. And you say, well, we believe in the sanctity of life, and so abortion is wrong. Okay. So they don't have a termination of the pregnancy, and they carry that child to delivery, and they say, well, I need some help. And you say, well, you shouldn't have a child that you're not ready to care for. And by the way, I'm cutting your Medicaid, and I'm cutting your SNAP benefits, and we're not going to have paid family leave, and we're not going to have access to enhanced childcare options, and we're not going to do anything to help you raise this child either. And so you have to wonder, what is it that this administration and these conservative elements would prefer took place? Honestly, it's not about whether this curriculum was perfect or not. It is about whether or not we should be making decisions based on evidence or based on the ideology of in administration. Our young people deserve access to curricula that are effective, even if you personally find it to be more than you're comfortable with young people seeing. It is the reality. It is life, right? I'm a pediatrician. I take care of adolescents. They are often sexually active, seeing images, have an understanding that comes from their friends about sex and sexual activity. And where there is a gap, where people are not explaining things to them in real world terms, in using real figures and images, they are going to fill that gap with things that are on the internet and with things that they're hearing from their friends. We have a responsibility to have effective curricula available for our young people, and the government has a responsibility to make sure that it is staying evidence-based in its decisions and not creating gaps in the level of prevention and teaching that our young people are receiving. All right, my friends, that is our episode today. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. We will catch you next week, Wednesday. Definitely take a look in our description areas to see a link to Access Matters. I wanted to make sure to share information about them. Of course, make sure, please, to like the episode, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those important places. And until next time, I am Dr. Kamaal Jones, and this is the Dr. Kamaal Jones Show.